Democrats. Earlier today, Congressman John Garamendi toured a facility in McAllen, Texas. He joins us live. Congressman, welcome.
Good to be with you, and good to be with my 25 colleagues who came down here to see what was going on and try to figure out if there's some way to solve a very, very serious humanitarian problem.
So have you seen any improvement down there since President Trump stopped his administration's policy of separating families at the border?
Well, there's no doubt that his order of zero tolerance created a huge humanitarian crisis, separating parents from their children. We've seen the photos, and we know that these children are now dispersed across the nation. And there's that's good news. But nonetheless, we still have a zero tolerance policy, which is going to create enormous problems off into the future as the government tries to figure out what to do with a whole set of people that have become criminalized because they tried to enter the country illegally. Now, if the ports were opened and people could enter appropriately, then we could probably not see the kind of problem that we have now and certainly had in the past.
A lot of these issues, is there any chance that you could see yourself voting for it?
Yeah. Well, not in its current form. Now, it's being changed over the weekend, and hopefully it'll be changed to the better. But there's some very serious problems in there, in that bill. It doesn't really deal with the underlying issues that present themselves here at the border. We know that we have to have a rational immigration program. People want to come to America to improve their lives. That's good. Some have skills, some don't, but both have a role here in the United States. That is not dealt with here. Also, there's a very serious diminution in all kinds of immigration. For example, Melania's parents could not come to America to join her under the provisions that at least were in the law yesterday, Friday. So there's some real serious problems in it. It deals in part with this policy that the president put in, the zero tolerance policy, but it doesn't really go to the heart of the matter. And it doesn't, it doesn't deal with the DACA issue in any rational way at all.
Well, you know, and I've heard so many criticisms from Republicans about the president's plan, or so many criticisms from Democrats about the president's plan, but I still haven't heard a good Democratic alternative. What alternative are the Democrats putting forward to this?
Well, first of all, we need to separate out the individual issues and not put them together. Certainly the DACA situation is a serious issue that needs to be dealt with. A clean DACA bill that took those who came here as children and processed them and allowed them a clear path to be in the country needs to be clear. That's
but what
not
about
in this
the issue
bill
of family? The issue of families being detained at the border.
Well, families have been detained at the border historically over the time. Also, unaccompanied children are detained at the border. We need to determine whether they are here under a policy that they were in harm's way back in their country or not. If they were in harm's way back in their country, then there is an international program to deal with those people who would become refugees and allowed to stay in the country, in the United States. Right now, that whole policy is up in the air as the president clamps down on some of the reasons why a person could claim